Level 1. The arrival. You step off the transport bus, already claimed. You are not a stray. You came up under a set on the street, and word came in before you did, so when you clear intake, there are men on the yard who already know your name and what you run with. That does not make you safe. It makes you accountable. Before you eat, before you sleep, you have to be received. You go to the men who run your car, the ones who speak for your kind on this yard, and you stand in front of them while they take your measure. They ask who put you on. They ask who can vouch for you, and they ask for your paperwork, your court documents, because a man who cannot show his charges is a man who might be an informant, or worse, and either way, he is a liability that gets handled fast. You hand over your papers. They read every line. You pass. Now you belong to the car, which means the car belongs to you, and everything you do reflects on every man standing in that circle. You learn the rules in the first hour. You eat with your own. You shower with your own. You do not cross certain lines drawn between the races, lines nobody wrote down, but everyone dies over. The man who vouched for you put his own name on the line to do it, which means your failures are now his failures, and that debt sits on you before you have done a single thing. You hold your tongue. You watch. You do what the older heads tell you without asking why, because obedience is the only currency you have until you earn a better one. You are nobody yet. You are a boot, the lowest rung of a structure older than anyone currently on the yard. But you came in the right way, under the right people, and that means there is a ladder in front of you. Most men never see the ladder. They do their time small and quiet and go home. You are not built for small and quiet. You look at the men who run this place from the inside and you do not see them as they are. You see what you are going to become. The climb starts now. Level 2. The soldier. You are the muscle before you are the mind. Every set runs on soldiers, and a soldier does the work nobody above him wants to touch. You hold the work, which is their word for contraband, the drugs and the phones and the blades that keep the car running, because if it is found on you, you take the charge, and the men above you stay clean. You stand on the line during counts and movements, positioned where you are told, a body in a formation you do not yet fully understand. You run the kites, the folded notes that carry orders across the yard and between the blocks, memorizing routes and drop spots, learning to move without being seen. You learn who everyone is, which men on your car have weight and which are boots like you, which men on the other cars are their shot callers, their soldiers, their earners. You build a map of the whole yard in your head, every alliance and every grudge, because a soldier who understands the politics becomes something more than a soldier. You do your first real violence on someone else's word. A man on your car fell short on a debt, or disrespected the wrong person, or got voted on for reasons above your pay grade, and you are told to handle it. You do not ask questions. You do the work. And afterward, you feel less than you expected to feel, which frightens you more than the act itself. You tell yourself it was business. You tell yourself he had it coming. Some nights you believe it. You are proving something now, to them and to yourself, that you can be relied on, that you will not flinch, that when the car needs a hand, you are the hand. The older heads start to notice. They give you a little more responsibility, a little more knowledge, a little more of the whole picture. You are still at the bottom, but you are climbing, and the men above you are watching to see how far you can go. Level 3. The enforcer. You have proven you will act, so now acting becomes your job. You are the enforcer, the one the car sends when a message needs to be delivered in a language everyone understands. You collect debts. When a man owes and does not pay, you are the reason he finds the money, and if he can't find it, you are the reason he wishes he had. You carry out the vote. When the car decides a man has to be dealt with, the decision comes down through the ranks and lands on you, and you carry it out because that is what you are for. You learn to read a man's fear before he knows he is afraid. You learn where the cameras are and where they are not, which corners of the yard and the block are blind, the same knowledge every predator in this place carries. You learn to move fast, finish clean, and be somewhere else when it is over. The violence stops surprising you. That is the part you do not tell anyone. The first time it sat heavy. Now it's a task, like any other task, with a beginning and an end, and you have done it enough times that your hands know the work better than your conscience does. You tell yourself you are a soldier in a war the world does not see. You tell yourself these are the rules of the place and you did not make them. Both of those things are true, and neither of them is the whole truth. You are becoming known now. Men lower their eyes when you pass. Men who owe the car pay faster when they hear your name is coming. The shot callers on your own car start to trust you with more than muscle. They start to trust you with the reasons behind the orders, because a man who can be relied on to act can eventually be relied on to decide. You are close to the line now, the line between the men who take orders and the men who give them. You can feel it. You want to cross it. Level 4, the earner. Muscle keeps a car alive, but money makes it powerful, and you have started to understand that the men with real weight are the ones who bring in the money. So you learn the hustle. You take over a piece of the economy that runs under everything in here. Maybe it's the drugs, moved in through visits and staff and 100 routes the guards never fully close. Maybe it's the phones, the contraband cells that connect the yard to the street and rent by the hour. Maybe it's the store, the lending of goods at interest that keeps half the yard in debt to the other half. You tax. Everything that moves through your section of the yard pays a piece to the car, and you are the one who sets the rate and collects it and answers for it. You learn to keep numbers in your head, because nothing can be written down. You learn who is skimming and who is straight. You learn to spot a setup, a hustle that is really a trap, an informant dangling beat. The money changes your standing overnight. A soldier is expendable. An earner is an asset, because an earner feeds everyone above him, and men protect what feeds them. You start to have a say. When the car meets to decide something, your voice carries now, because you are the one keeping the lights on. You tell yourself you are just providing what men were going to get anyway. You tell yourself the demand was here long before you were. It's true, and it's also the story you tell so you can sleep. You are not muscle anymore. You are infrastructure, and the men who run the car have started to look at you differently, the way men look at someone they might one day hand the keys to. You are almost there. You can see the top of the ladder now, and there are only a few rungs left. Level 5, the right hand. The shot caller who runs your car picks you. Out of all the soldiers and earners and enforcers, he pulls you close and makes you his right hand. And everyone on the yard understands what that means. You are the second most powerful man on your car now. You relay his word. When he decides something, it comes out of your mouth to the soldiers, and they move because your voice is his voice. You manage the men below you, the soldiers in the boots, assigning the work, settling the small disputes before they reach the top, keeping the machine running so the shot caller can think about the things only he can think about. You sit in on the politics. You are in the room when your car meets with the other cars, when the shot callers of every race sit down to keep the fragile peace that keeps this yard from exploding. You watch how it is done. You watch your shot caller hold a room full of dangerous men, how he reads them, how he gives a little to get a little, how he decides when to talk and when to send a message that cannot be talked around. You are learning to be him. That is the whole point of the position. He is grooming you, whether he says so or not, because a car needs a line of succession, and a shot caller who does not race his replacement leaves chaos behind him. You tell yourself you are loyal. You are loyal. But you also watch him for weakness, the way every second in command watches the man above him, because you both know how this ends. Either he falls and you rise, or he rises out of this place and hands you the keys, or one day the car decides he has lost a step and the same men who follow him will follow you instead. You do not want to think about that. You think about it every day. Level 6, the shot caller. It happens the way these things always happen. Maybe he gets transferred to another institution. Maybe he catches a new case and goes to the hole and does not come back to the main line. Maybe the car simply decides it's time. However it comes, the keys come to you, and now you are the shot caller. Now you run the car. Everything that happens to your kind on this yard runs through you. Who gets protected, who gets put on work, who eats and who goes hungry, who has to be dealt with and when and how. You hold the politics now. You are the one who sits across from the other shot callers, the one who keeps the peace or decides the peace is over. You carry the weight of every man on your car, hundreds of them, their safety and their discipline and their survival, all resting on your judgment. And you learn the thing that no one who wants this job understands until they have it, which is that the power is a cage. You cannot show weakness, not for a second, because weakness at the top gets men killed and gets you removed. You cannot trust anyone completely, because everyone around you is measuring your spot the way you once measured the man above you. You cannot rest. A decision waits every hour, and every decision is a gamble with other men's lives and your own.
You order violence now with a word, a nod, a name passed down the line, and men act on it, and you tell yourself it is necessary. And sometimes you are right. Other times you are wrong, and a man is hurt or gone who did not have to be, and there is no undoing it and no one to answer to, and you fold that into the weight with all the rest. But you feel the weight of it accumulating, the men heard on your say-so, and you carry it alone, because there's no one above you to carry it for you. You wanted this, you climbed for this, and now that you have it, you understand that the man who reaches the top of this ladder does not get to climb down. There is no retirement from this. There is only the top until the day there is the fall.